pro bodybuilder and eat like a pro and all this other stuff, you got to get a good job.
First and foremost, the things that I try to avoid is the development of bad habits.
I mean, that alone is, I mean, $200 just a week, and just in chicken. Carbs are cheap, you know, but it's the protein, man, that they kill you on. So if you're doing like chicken and steak and fish, I mean, you gotta think, collectively you're getting in, I mean, I eat around 6 pounds of protein a day, 5 to 6 pounds. So you're getting in that much. That means that you're, I mean, on average, just in meat alone, I mean, you're spending $80 to $80, $90. Normal, I'd probably say average kid that wants to, you know, get into bodybuilding and stuff is going to spend like maybe $50 to $150 a month. But then the guys that have a job or have a hookup and stuff usually spend about anywhere from $500 to $600 a month. Because they're going to get these big jugs of protein, which they're going to blow through because they're doing 2 or 3 shakes a day, which is fine, you know, but then because maybe they work and they can't, you know, eat on the job. I mean, for a bodybuilder, you need a fat burner, you need a pre-workout, you need a, you know, intra-workout supplement, you know, a during, you need a post, you need something before you go to sleep, when you wake up, multivitamin, and, you know, like all your specialty stuff. So like if I was to pay for all this, I mean, easily, you gotta think, I mean, well over $20,000.
For instance, if I know that in large part I'm going to need to eat in a specific way for an extended period of time in order to reap a continued residual effect or a cumulative effect, then I want to develop good habits. So I want to learn how to eat clean, love eating clean, enjoy eating clean, and take the monotony and the dreariness out of, take the challenge and discomfort out of making good food choices. So if there's anything that I try to avoid, I try to avoid sugar. I try to avoid developing a codependency on foods that are not going to help me get to my desired end result. Like ice cream or cake. A lot of times people will tell you, oh, you can have a slice. Oh, you can have this ice cream. One time is not going to hurt you. The truth is, one time can hurt you, because what happens is one time makes it easier for the next, and then the next, and then the next.
All right, guys, here we are in the kitchen. I just wanted to go over some of the meals that I am currently eating. One of my least, but yet most favorite is tilapia and yams. I do a lot of fish. I do a ton of fish, like toward the middle, throughout the end of the prep. Normally up to 5 times a day, but right now I'm only doing it once. The fish really helps with, you know, really thinning out the skin, and it's a lighter protein, so you can actually eat like. There's been times where I've eaten like up to 1 pound a day, but normally I'm getting around 12 ounces, and that's cooked weight, so roughly about 14 ounces. With this, the yam, I started incorporating that a couple years ago during my carb up process, and I noticed that it keeps me really, really full. So I started using that just at the beginning of the diet, because I noticed that the minute I start dieting, I start losing a lot of weight really fast, and this kind of keeps me, you know, fuller longer. So especially like during like heavy back and leg days, I'll be eating this. Steak and rice, I'm getting in, you know, this is just 12 ounces of cooked steak with 2 cups of white rice. I'm doing white rice right now because honey lets me, but also it allows me to stay fuller, just like the sweet potato. Sometimes I'll actually take half of the sweet potato and half of the rice and combine them, and that just gives me a little bit of different texture and whatnot. So the steak is really good for, you know, upping like my creatine and natural growth hormones and stuff like that, but inducing like more testosterone production. So I'll usually have this either before or right after I train, like post-workout, after I do a shake or something, like usually about 60 to 90 minutes after I do a post-workout shake. I try to get this meal in, this particular one. Usually if I'm training during the day, I usually get this about meal 3 or 4, and then I'll do it again right now I'm doing 2 steak meals, so it's usually like the 3rd or 4th meal and then like the 7th meal. And I'll do that 7th meal without any carbs. I'll just do it with veggies. And that's another thing. I don't really eat a whole lot of veggies in my diet. I probably should, but I usually don't do it a lot until I start really reducing the carbs. That's just something I've always done. But if I do have any carbs, it's usually just broccoli and red peppers. Next would be all white meat chicken, again with white rice. Chicken is obviously is very high protein. You know, I've been doing it, gosh, since I've been bodybuilding really. And obviously Redbird Farms, my sponsor, they've been so kind enough to give me an abundance of, you know, chicken every week, usually roughly about 20 pounds. So getting in 12 ounces per meal isn't tough. So it's easy on the wallet as well. But I know a lot of people are probably wondering why don't I incorporate brown rice? Well, right now, with this part of my prep, I don't really incorporate the brown rice usually until like toward the end, because it'll slow everything down and whatnot. But I like using white rice. I've just noticed that for my physique, I can metabolize it really quick, which is a blessing because sometimes brown rice gets a little boring. But I'll change it up here and there. Like I said, I can change it up I can do all brown rice. I could do like a mix where I could do like white rice and sweet potato like after I train. Just good insulin spike and all that stuff. But I play around with all these different meals throughout the prep normally. I might every now and again put in like a, you know, real extra lean turkey breast, ground turkey, but that's very rare because I don't really like it that much. I might throw like a little bit of it, like maybe 4 ounces with my egg whites just to up my protein a little bit if I'm reducing the carbs. And really the only other thing that I eat would be like I might spice things up a little bit, throw some avocado in with my fish, and do like all natural almond butter in between some of these meals, usually about 2 or 3 times a day, or just a handful of almonds 2 or 3 times a day. I actually weigh every meal. And, you know, that's really important because as a pro bodybuilder, you definitely are, you know, using a portion control system. And with that said, I use my food scale over there and I weigh everything from carbs to proteins, fats, everything. I mean, I could weigh even soup on that thing. All I need to do is just type in a code and it does it for me. But even if I lose the code, I can easily just know that I need 12 ounces of cooked weight of pretty much all my proteins. So I just cook all my meals, and then I'll just portion them out that way. The good thing about the chicken is that it's already pre-weighed, you know, it's already trimmed and weighed out for me by Redbird Farms, so I don't have a problem with that. It's just like the steak, you know, usually you can go to your, like for me, I usually go to like Whole Foods or a butcher, and I'll ask for them to cut them accordingly, but sometimes it doesn't come out right. So I just cook usually like 2 or 3 steaks at a time, and then I'll just spruce it up because there's times where I may reduce the protein because I'm increasing the carbs, or vice versa because of how I'm looking during the prep. So that's really helpful as to be able to give me a gauge as to what's going on. And it also helps my trainer, Honey Rambot, out when he'll ask, so how many grams of carbs, how many grams of protein, you know, are you weighing your food correctly? Well, I'll tell him and then he'll make the changes accordingly. So every bodybuilder or anyone really that's trying to really get gains inside and outside the gym should have a food scale. I don't care if you are trying to be a pro bodybuilder or not. Every person that wants to eat healthy should have a food scale, no matter what.